to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In your packet, you have an agenda. Everybody get a chance to look at it. Any additions or corrections?
Would it be safe to assume that number 8A won't happen?
Or, no. When I get to that, I would 8A, what he's referring to, this is a line item that's always going to be on our agenda. Now, Dave Hatfield tonight is, he has a county planning commission meeting, so he won't be here. But that's always going to be on the agenda, so we'll approve it.
Right on.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Brem to approve, supported by Jarvis. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Also in your packet, you have the minutes of the February 12th, 2024 regular meeting and closed session meeting. Any questions, any comments, any corrections on the open meeting part of that meeting? I hear a motion to accept and place on file the February 12th, 2024 regular meeting minutes and closed session meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Jarvis.
Support.
Or by McLean. Roll call.
Councilmember Brem,
Yes.
Councilmember Furrow,
Yes.
Councilmember Jarvis,
Yes.
Councilmember McLean,
Yes.
Councilmember Rezegi,
Yes.
Councilmember Barlow,
Yes.
Mayor Tassavo.
Yes. Public hearing, we have none. Public comment. Anybody here would like to address the council tonight? I'll give you 3 minutes. Tell me who you are. Anybody? Okay. Formal recognitions and presentations. Like I just said a few minutes ago, item A, presentation by Dave Hatfield, our county commissioner. Dave is at a county planning commission meeting tonight, so he'll return for our next meeting. Items for action by unanimous consent. Entertain a motion to place on file 10 invoices totaling $243,302.67 as detailed in your attachment. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make that motion, Your Honor.
Support.
Motion by Rezegi, supported by Barlow. Any questions about any of that stuff? Let's tell you, this has all been pre-approved. It just, anybody have any questions on it? Roll call.
Councilmember Furrow,
Yes.
Councilmember Jarvis,
Yes.
Councilmember McLean,
Yes.
Councilmember Rezegi,
Yes.
Councilmember Barlow,
Yes.
Councilmember Brem,
Yes.
Mayor Tassavo.
Yes. In your packet, you have 2 proposals for city-owned residential property. You want to go over any of this, Sarah? Do we have anybody here that wants to speak tonight, or?
Yes, there are people representing both of the proposals here this evening, so we thought we'd give them a few minutes to talk about what their vision is for the site and a little bit more about their company and what they do in their history and why they would like to build here in Hastings. A summary of the 2 proposals is before you, along with some other information, documentation that was provided by the applicants. So, Dan, did you have anything to add, or are we ready to hear from the...
I believe we're ready to hear from both the developers.
All right.
So who wants to get up there first? Go ahead. Tell us who you are and what's your company.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tammy Tiscarino, and my husband and I own a construction company called Valorum Construction Group, and we are interested in the 7 acres in Hastings. We would like to develop and build approximately 20 condos for lower income households. That's our goal. We've looked in different areas in the state, and we really like the area here in Hastings. So, I mean, there's not much to us. We're a smaller company. We're just looking for an opportunity to start somewhere. So, yeah. As you can see, some of the houses that we built in the Grand Rapids area.
Can I ask a question? You said that you were looking to build condos, and in the papers that we have, it says 20 single-family homes.
Well, we were kind of debating on maybe both, depending on, area of the lot and whatnot, but that's just not set in stone yet. Just just throwing it out there, but that's the goal, is to kind of accommodate smaller houses just so they're more affordable for people.
And I'm really supporting the smaller homes. House prices have gotten unattainable for most people, and I think we have a shortage of these smaller style homes, and I really think that that could be an asset to our community.
Any other questions?
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead,
have a
Al.
question. Are the condos gonna be rented or are they for purchase?
Purchase, but a lower income affordability rate, just because we know how hard it is to acquire a home. I mean, we've been there. We've come from basically nothing. So we know what it's like to try to get to the point of home ownership. So yeah, definitely affordable and purchase.
Do you use local subs or,
Yes.
what I mean by local, you're from, out of Grand Rapids,
Yes,
right?
we're out of Grand Rapids.
Do you use like people in Berry County or you have subs that you use in Grand Rapids?
Grand Rapids, I mean, we're open to subs in Berry County as well.
Okay, well, we have nothing control of that, but.
Any other questions? So my question is, do you realize this is a subdivision? You'll have to put the streets and
Yes,
water and
sir.
sewer and all that in?
Yes.
If you get, if you're warranted, if you're giving this and you negotiate with the city manager and everything's fine, when would you start?
Well, we would start with the street and utilities, hopefully, this year, for sure. And then as soon as the street and the utilities are put in, then we would start with the process of building the homes.
Do you have, says here, I'm looking at your side-by-side comparison with the other company and requesting incentives, it says to be determined. Do you guys have any idea if you're gonna ask for tax abatements?
Well, we do have funds now. We're not gonna ask for tax abatements right now. I don't think we're gonna go that route. So no, we're not going that route.
Okay, so you're not gonna go for TIF financing or a pilot program up there?
We will probably go for financing at some point, yes.
Any other questions? Now, when you start building, you're gonna build one house till it's done, then you're gonna move on to the next one?
We plan to build 3 and then move on in 3s.
Okay. Any other questions?
How many total units do you think you can get in here?
I'm sorry?
How many total units do you think you get out of the property?
Approximately 20. 17 to 20.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
No. Thank you.
Thank you for having me here tonight. My name is Brian Farkas, representing Allen Edwin Homes. We were originally looking at a different piece of property in the city. When that became unavailable to us, we became aware of this product. We are the state's largest home builder. We can, on average, we build about 1,000 units a year. We'd be looking to take advantage of the TIF financing for this project to cover the underground infrastructure that's required to build the site out. We would also look to do for sale and for lease at workforce housing missing middle. We're active in many different cities across the state. We're very aware of the housing crisis facing all cities of all sizes across the state. We're actively working with municipalities across the state to do creative financing so we can build at the price point in which the housing units are needed the most. We've got a proposal before you. I'll turn it over to questions at this time.
Now, you built the places up on North Street, right?
I believe so.
And 5 of those are rentals. Are you in the rental business or did that get turned over to somebody else?
So about 6 to 8 years ago, Allen Edwin, as a production home builder, started experimenting with the rental market, building brand new homes for lease. We noticed some of our customers coming in and buying the homes preferred a for lease option. We found that with our production model of building, we can also build for lease relatively easily. We've got a fleet of about 500 to 600 homes right now that we lease across the state. We do that in-house with our Copper Bay rental brand. So they're all managed in-house, Copper Bay Rentals, from leasing to servicing, warranty issues, things like that. So we do build brand new homes to lease. These are energy efficient homes, and they're the exact same looking ones as the ones we'd sell.
Because I actually went up there and thinking, you got people that own a home, you have people that are renting.
Yes.
Or whatever, and I couldn't really say that the rental homes are not taken care of and the owned ones aren't, so I didn't see a difference there.
You didn't see a difference?
Other than I had the address and, yeah, but I did not see a difference.
Good, you're not supposed to.
Yeah, well, sometimes renters don't take care of their property,
Yep.
but I got a neighbor that doesn't take care of their property, they own it, so.
Yeah, we find in different cities we work in. So my background's, I spent 10 years in Detroit working for the mayor's office. We've got guys that have worked in the city of Portage for planners. Oftentimes, the problem property owners are the like you just said, the owners. If someone's not agreeing to our terms of the lease, they're probably not following the ordinance of the city. We can take care of that a lot quicker sometimes than an owner-occupied house.
I have a question.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Do you know a ballpark, and maybe you put that in there and I didn't see it, but a ballpark price point for these homes?
So with the for lease model using TIF, we can get a home that would normally lease for around $2,200-$2,300 a month, normally lease without any incentives. We can get that down to about $1,600-$1,700 a month. And so that's going off the area median income. It'd be income qualified. So I think a family of 4 in this area would have to make under $104,000, I believe. I can get that number to you, but it's priced to be affordable for teachers, for cops, things like that.
What about a price point for a purchase?
For sale, we'd want to keep the mortgage payments at the same price point, so we're looking probably at around $200,000 plus or minus.
Okay.
I have a question, because at $200,000, I don't know how you could have a mortgage payment of that with the current interest rates and what taxes would be on that.
It depends the down payment. So if you're putting down 5 to 10%, you can get a mortgage payment down to around ballpark, I would say $1,900 a month. But again, it works. We'd want to get into it more and look at the numbers in terms of the TIF and what it can generate if we offer for sale product in this area.
So but your intention is for lease more so than?
The intention right now is probably for lease. We'd be looking to explore both options, but right now we'd probably be looking for lease.
Any other questions?
So if you were to get this property, when would you be able to start?
We would, the way we normally do things is we would keep title with the city. We would immediately start our due diligence and investigation period. So we do environmentals, engineering, everything like that. If we have to work with zoning, any issues like that, making sure our plans are 100% approved, we want to pull the building permits, so we're probably looking at 3 to 6 months there. Once we've got a very clear path to underground installation, home building permits being pulled, then we'd close on the property and probably start a week or so after that. So we're probably looking at, depending on how the approvals go, fall.
And how many places would you be building at one time?
Most likely all at once. Once we get our trades mobilized, we'd probably want to do it all at once.
You're asking the amount, the number?
The number of houses, yeah.
In here it says 20.
Yeah, that's the ballpark. We think they can fit in here, 19 to 20.
Any other questions? I'm going to ask you the same question. You know you have to put all the infrastructure in, water, sewer,
Yes.
storm drain, curb gutter, asphalt, or not, blacktop?
Yes.
Is that, I assume you're going to do curb and gutter, all
Curb
the
gutters, we did
utilities
it.
before you put the road in until you start building houses?
Yeah, we do underground development work all over the state. We're very capable in doing that, and we'd be looking to do the same thing here.
Now, the last project you proposed to the city up off Fair, or was it Williams? Francis Street, up in that area?
Brittany Estates.
Yeah, that was the only hang up on that was basically the stormwater runoff, wasn't it? But that shouldn't be a problem out there. Have you looked at any?
We've looked at some of the as-built construction
out there.
We've looked at some of the as-built construction plans, and we think this is a much more suitable site for that.
Okay. And you're telling us right up front you're going to want TIF financing and?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
So what's your pleasure?
It's a hard decision to make.
Yeah.
Can I ask one more question, Mayor?
Sure.
Of the Valorium, is that what it's called? What is your price point per home?
Need to have you go back to the microphone.
Our price point would be around $250.
Okay. And yours would mostly be not rentals, they would be
Not
for
at
sale?
all.
Okay.
Right up?
That's all. Yep.
Okay.
Do I hear a motion? Motion to authorize city manager to negotiate a purchase and development agreement for the property located at South Orchard Street, parcels 55-240-105-00 with, fill in the blank?
Yeah.
Does that, we're making the decision of which one they negotiate with?
Right.
I'll start off right now, and, sorry, what's the last name there again? The Valorium. I'm more in favor of that because they're not asking for TIF financing. It's smaller homes, which we desperately need. We wouldn't be leasing them out, and I have some other reasons, but I'd rather not say, but that's my opinion, is what we should.
I'll support that
Yeah.
motion.
Motion by Furrow to authorize city manager to negotiate a purchase and development agreement for the property located at South Orchard Street with, what's the name of your company again? Valorium Construction Company. And to authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the agreement. Motion was made by Furrow, and who supported that? Barlow?
I did, yes.
Any discussion? Roll call.
I have one question. In the negotiation, we put a time limit on how long it takes to build these things?
Well, my guess is that's what she's gonna
That'll be a
negotiate.
development agreement, and
Okay.
that'll be outlined in the development agreement.
Could I have another question for Laura? How many subdivisions have you done?
A subdivision, we have not done a subdivision. That's why we're trying to take this opportunity to take that jump. We've just done residential homes throughout the area, one by one, because we've never had this opportunity at this time with the financing we have and the funds we have to purchase something to go forward with that plan. So no, a development we have not done it in that aspect, but like I said, houses all over the city we have done.
Because it's going to require excavation. Have you done that other than
Yes,
basement?
we've done that. My husband actually does it all.
Well, somebody's always got to be first.
Yeah. Any other questions? Roll call.
Councilmember Jarvis.
Yes.
Councilmember McLean.
Yes.
Councilmember Rezegi.
Yes.
Councilmember Barlow.
Yes.
Councilmember Brown.
Yes.
Councilmember Furrow.
Yes.
Mayor Tassava.
No. Okay, you got your walking papers, I guess. So when do you want them to come in and start talking to you, tomorrow? Tomorrow's election day.
We've already had some conversation. I'm not sure what my schedule is, but we'll be in touch.
Okay, next item B, entertain a motion to direct staff that, to approve the downtown business team's request to hold sidewalk sales from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday, April 20th, 2024, and to state the necessary ordinances by adopting Resolution 2024-03.
I'll make that motion.
Make that motion. Motion by McLean. Do I hear support?
Support.
Supported by Barlow. Any questions? We have a gentleman standing right here that wants to tell us all about it.
You guys got any questions? We're just trying to take advantage of the Barry Roubaix going on that weekend. We had a lot of walk-around traffic that comes off that, especially after the race. And the downtown team hasn't really established a good sidewalk sale day for this year, so we thought that would be a good day to take advantage of the already traffic here and people walking around.
Any questions? Okay. Motion made by, who the heck made that
Me.
motion? Yeah, I got it right here. Motion by McLean, supported by Barlow, to approve the, to approve the request from the downtown business team to have sidewalk sales from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday, April 20th, 2024, and state the necessary ordinance by adopting resolution 2024-3. Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember McLean?
Yes.
Councilmember Rezegi?
Yes.
Councilmember Barlow?
Yes.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Furrow?
Yes.
Councilmember Jarvis?
Yes.
Mayor Tosca?
Yes. Also in your packet, we have a number of events that they're requesting for Hammond Hill Disc Golf Course. So do I hear a motion to approve the events at Hammond Hill as presented?
Make that motion.
Motion by
Support.
Brem, supported by McLean. Any questions? Roll call.
Councilmember Rezegi?
Yes.
Councilmember Barlow?
Yes.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Furrow?
Yes.
Councilmember Jarvis?
Yes.
Councilmember McLean?
Yes.
Mayor Tosca?
Yes. Item D, entertain a motion to approve the purchase of a modular pedestrian island from Professional Pavement Products for $6,707.43. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make that motion, Your Honor.
Motion by Rezegi,
Support.
supported by Barlow. Questions?
My question is, what is this gonna look like? I looked at all the drawings, and it
It
was
looks
saying you
like-
can pick it up and move it, and some look.
Yeah, so it comes in pieces, like square pieces, and then they get bolted together. There's a picture of Traverse City. Yep,
Right
right
here,
there.
yep.
That bottom picture there,
Mm-hmm.
that's what it will look like. Only ours will be, that one, the place where you walk through is kind of in the middle, because ours is at an intersection. It has more of a shorter piece on the part closest to traffic, I guess you could say. And then it's longer on the back.
So Traverse City's happy with the way it's working?
Yeah, they've had it for several years, and that's this exact same product. So
But they-
MDOT's comfortable with it as well, because they've had it in their road
Do
environment.
they move theirs also?
Yes, I believe they take it out in the winter.
Oh. I've been to Traverse City. That's the only way you can get across that street. You know, there's not as much traffic there as in Traverse City, but anybody that's ever rode a bicycle, or even people, young mother pushing a stroller, they have a hard time getting across there. What'll happen with this island here, you'll cross to the island, you'll wait for traffic to clear. My question, is MDOT willing to put up signage for this too?
What kind of signage?
I would think you'd have to have a sign that says something about pedestrian crossing, and there might be signs down there now.
I don't know that that's necessary. I mean, in this picture, there isn't.
Right, right. Well, you can't see that.
We still have to do a operation and maintenance agreement with MDOT, which will be forthcoming. But they wanted us to go ahead and be able to order this because they can have long lead times. And they didn't want to delay us, which I appreciated their thoughtfulness in doing that for us.
I have a question. So by doing that, people won't be, that are heading south on Broadway won't be able to turn to, say, to go down Mill to go to the post office?
They'll be able to turn on Mill.
There'll be no turn lane.
You won't be able to turn left onto Thorn, or you'll have to
That's what I
turn
meant, Thorn. You won't be able to turn.
from that street. So it's up to MDOT. They'll tell us if they want no left there, or if they're okay with people turning left from that lane. There aren't very many left-hand turns onto Thorn. We did several first-hand data counts that's included in there. Of several segments of busy road times, and counted how many vehicular turns there were in various directions, and there's very few left-hand turns.
Really? Okay.
Any other questions?
One other quick question. By us, are we gonna call this a safety zone? Are we accepting liability if something happened? Just knowing how lawyers work.
I don't think any more than we otherwise would.
Well, otherwise you would, the person's at their own risk going across now. We're putting in something that we think that they're going to be safer.
It reduces pedestrian accidents by about a third, is what the data shows. And it's an MDOT road, it's their jurisdiction, and they would be approving it. So again, this is a pilot project. They are letting us put it in for a couple of months to collect data and see what happens. If it works out well, we can continue it. If they have concerns or things don't work out the way that they anticipated, they may withdraw their approval. So we do have another site that we would like to add something similar to. So if for some reason this doesn't work out and the pilot ends and they say, no, we don't want to continue this, we certainly don't want to spend almost $7,000 on something we then can't use again. So we do have an alternative location that is not in MDOT's jurisdiction that's been identified as a good place for a similar crossing, and that would be where we try to utilize it should this not be able to go forward.
Well, and I can see it's safer than what it is now, because people do stop in the middle lane and stand there, the cars are going flying by them, so.
Or they get tired of waiting and then take on riskier crossing behaviors.
Maybe draw attention to it.
I would say, as one of the older citizens of Hastings, that is a very difficult place to go across. You cannot get across in the light that's there. You can start as soon as it is, and it's off by the time you get to the other side.
There's no light there.
There's no light.
There's no light. Well,
This is by
Welty.
well, I know where I'm sorry, but you cannot get across. It's, I mean, this would, even where there is a light, you can't get across. But this would present a better place. We would go down to that section to go across rather than any other place on Broadway. I see it as I think it'd be very good, especially for, us that are getting older, to try to get across the street. And we do go to the park quite often. It's a beautiful park, and we use it.
Any other questions?
I got one. So, Sarah, you mentioned that you've got another spot that isn't under MDOT jurisdiction. I assume then we'll be seeing another purchase in a few months if MDOT decides to keep this one there?
Potentially.
Okay.
I'm not sure about the timeline on it, but
Doesn't really affect my decision on this specific one, obviously, but just curious.
and there may be other locations too, if this is successful, that we consider as well, but we'll kind of start somewhere.
Right.
Market Street.
Yeah. Okay. We have a motion from Rezegi, supported by Barlow, to approve the purchase of a modular pedestrian island from Professional Pavement Products for $6,707.43. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Barlow?
Yes.
Councilmember Graham?
Yes.
Councilmember Furrow?
Yes.
Councilmember Jarvis?
Yes.
Councilmember McLean?
Yes.
Councilmember Rezegi?
Yes.
Costa?
Yes. Okay, item E, entertain a motion to approve the 63-month equipment lease agreement with Nordyke Business Equipment for $1,072.38 a month, and a maintenance agreement for $449.19 for copy equipment. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll support.
Moved by Rezegi, supported by McLean. You want to tell us anything about this stuff here?
About coffee machines?
Say coffee machines?
Copy.
I wish they were coffee machines. If these made coffee, then that would be great. So our existing lease is expiring here in the next few months. Newer equipment is actually less costly to maintain because it uses less toner and obviously it doesn't run down as much. We're also adjusting the agreement for the base number of copies. When we entered into this agreement 5 years ago, we were making a lot more copies. Council, you didn't have your paperless policies at that time. The needs of different departments have changed in terms of who needs scanning and who needs black and white versus color, so we've made some of those modifications as well. So overall, we'll be getting new equipment, and the price is actually going down a little bit for us.
Questions?
I make a motion, we approve.
You already have that.
Oh,
Motion was made by Rezegi, supported by McLean, to approve the 63-month equipment lease agreement with Nordyke Business Equipment for $1,072.38 a month, and a maintenance agreement for $449.19 a month. There's no other discussion. Roll call.
Councilmember Graham?
Yes.
Councilmember Furrow?
Yes.
Councilmember Jarvis?
yes.
Councilmember McLean?
Yes.
Councilmember Rezegi?
Yes.
Councilmember Barlow?
Yes.
Mayor Tosser?
Yes. Next item in your packet, entertain a motion to approve the purchase of 6 Colt SBR rifles from Ortwine International and trade in 4 existing Smith & Wesson rifles for a total cost of $10,878. Do you hear that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Barlow. Do I hear support?
Support.
Motion by Barlow, supported by Rezegi, to approve the purchase of 6 Colt SBR rifles from Ortwine International and trade in 4 existing Smith & Wesson rifles for a total cost of $10,878. Discussion.
I take it this is for the police department?
I
wanted
Any questions?
These are high-powered rifles to shoot through, like engine blocks, that type of thing?
Well,
I'm not sure exactly.
Not necessarily going to shoot through an engine block. It's the same caliber as what we carry now.
Okay.
Just a newer version. It's not 17 years old.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
same caliber.
All right. Does this look like what they consider assault rifle? The police department?
I guess you could consider it that. It's enhanced patrol rifle. It's going to look very similar to what you see an AR-15 platform
Okay.
rifle. So.
Any other questions? Roll call.
Councilmember Furrow?
Yes.
Councilmember Jarvis?
Yes.
Councilmember McLean?
Yes.
Councilmember Rezegi?
Yes.
Councilmember Barlow?
Yes.
Councilmember Graham?
Yes.
Mayor Tosser?
Yes. Item G, motion to create 1 non-voting student position for each of the following boards: Downtown Development Authority Board, Planning Commission Board, and Library Board, for terms as determined by the mayor.
I'll make that motion.
I'll make that
I
motion.
already made that motion.
Motion by Brown. Do I hear support?
Support.
Support by McLean to
Okay, we all-
create a non-voting student position for each of the following: the Downtown Development Authority Board, Planning Commission Board, and Library Board, to terms as determined by the mayor. I would think that'd be more, when the young man came and talked to us about it, it was had more to do with their recommendation, and, because a lot of these kids that are gonna wanna be on these boards, you know, it depends on if they're juniors, seniors, or whatever they are, so.
That's why it's at a term to be determined by you. When they get appointed, you'd be recommending their appointment in the term, and then everybody would vote on it.
Okay, discussion? Questions?
Why only those 3 boards?
Because that's all we want them on.
Okay.
No, it's the, I think they're the most high visibility, and the only, let's see, the board, I'm trying to think here. Library board meets at 4 o'clock, Planning Commission meets at 7 o'clock at night, DDA would be an easier board for a student, it's 8 o'clock on a Thursday morning, so, but,
There's already student representation on the nature board.
right.
The other boards are in the middle of the day. I mean, maybe the cemetery advisory board, but that doesn't seem like maybe the best choice for that.
Is the government for tomorrow involved in this?
Yes, so after we do this, they're going to start working with the school to introduce the concept and recruit students who may be interested.
And they'll be looking for sponsors, like through businesses or?
They will be requesting donations either from service organizations or the community foundation or things of that nature. Those are who they usually go to for support. But our ability for them to work with us and to assist in this process isn't dependent upon them. They just ask that we help them make those connections.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
For
Any
whatever
other
that's
thoughts, questions? Okay, we have a motion by Bram and supported by McLean to create a non-voting student position for each of the following: Downtown DDA Board, Planning Commission, Library Board, and the term will be determined by the mayor. No further discussion. Roll call.
Councilmember Jarvis,
Yes.
Councilmember McLean.
Yes.
Councilmember Rezegi,
Yes.
Councilmember Barlow,
Yes.
Councilmember Brem,
Yes.
Councilmember Furrow,
Yes.
Mayor Tassava.
Yes. Staff presentations and policy discussions. Public engagement guide. Everybody get a chance to look at that? So is there action on this item tonight?
I don't think any action is necessary, but I did want to share this with you so you know the direction that we're going in internally. It was identified as one of your goals to increase public engagement and awareness of things that council is doing and to seek input in a wider variety of ways. A lot of public engagement guides were created, including our previous one, as a part of the Redevelopment Ready Communities process. And the sample material and templates that they provide are fine as far as they go, but they tend to use a lot of generalizations and focus on what the legal requirements are for public engagement in certain situations, particularly for planning. But they don't create a tool. They're not easy to implement because they don't have a lot of action items other than presenting material more as a series of check boxes. So what we wanted to do was to create more of a toolbox, more of a guide that department heads can use to determine what level of public engagement is most appropriate given the situation, if any, and to work through early on in the process what the steps may be to identify the level of engagement, identify the stakeholders, determine the best ways to solicit public input, and bring about the best positive result that is most inclusive for the community. So that is sort of the structure of this guide. It's meant to be a tool that is used rather than a plan that just tells you what to do. It is to help brainstorm ideas and go through a creative process with every project, which uses this as implementation rather than to just be a guide. So it really helps to foster an environment that values public engagement. So if you had a chance to flip through it, hopefully you got that sense from it. There's a lot of summarization pages and tables. There are some forms that could be filled out as we're working through the process of determining levels of public engagement through whatever project it is that we're working on. So I wanted to show this to you to give you a feel for the direction that we're going. We'll have some training on this in the coming months to make sure that everybody's clear on what the expectation is and how to use this guide. So are there any questions that I can answer at this point, or any feedback that you have as you reviewed it?
I think it's from what I've read, a great idea. Didn't you kind of do this with Titan Lofts, with the neighbors?
Yes. Yeah, there was some something very similar done for that. That was led by the developer. We were supporting the endeavor, but they did a lot of engagement with the neighbors to do what they could to mitigate the concerns that they had.
But I think it's a great idea, because I think that would help with the perception of transparency, that, here, you can get involved. If you don't get involved, you can't complain about it. So I think that's a good way to put it, but I think it's a great idea. But that's a good law line.
So is this similar to a Citizens Academy?
No.
Okay.
No.
Because I know I did give you a bunch of information last year from the city of Midland.
So a Citizens Academy is more about educating the public about what it is that the city does. This is more project oriented, so it's based on
Getting the public involved.
getting the public involved in projects. Yep.
Great.
Well, whatever you said, we need that too.
But we did talk about Citizens Academy
Yes.
in our goals and objectives.
Yes.
And I don't know if you still have that material.
I do.
Because the mayor of Midland presented at our mayor's convention last summer, and that was a great tool for us to use, so. Okay, next item, city council paperless agenda policy.
Yeah. You have a paperless agenda policy.
And you're going double-sided?
Is that for everybody but me, or?
I don't have a comment about that, but it is in your rules of procedure, which is why the agenda packet is published on the website and why we've implemented iPads for the city council and for the planning commission. So we are getting to the point where our laptops, which we lease, our laptops and computers, the lease is expiring the end of June. And so we need to notify them of kind of what our plans are for what we're going to do with them. When we initiate this all will make sense and all come together, I promise. So when we initially issued the iPads to everyone, the reasons why an iPad was chosen, to my knowledge, this is before my time, but the size, the flexibility, the portability. I think there was some concern about people having internet access, so there was an option for a data plan, so we didn't have to worry about that. The problems that have come up from them, though, are numerous. They have been a cause of many headaches in the office, primarily because they require an Apple ID, and when people forget their Apple ID or they leave office and don't tell us their Apple ID, we have difficulty regaining control of the iPad and reissuing it to somebody else. There is a system now, there's a business management system that we could enroll all of the iPads in, but we'd have to collect them from everybody and start over with the deployment process. That being said, they're really not utilized that heavily. People use them for meetings, and that's primarily the only use that they get. Our department heads have communicated to me that they would like to have more iPads at their disposal so they can use them for their departments. And instead of buying new iPads, it might be beneficial if we solve two problems by collecting the iPads back from council, redeploying them to the departments, and then purchasing the laptops, because we have 9 of them, I believe, that we're leasing right now. We can purchase them at the end of the lease for 33 cents on the dollar, and then give those to the council to use for your meetings and for fulfillment of your paperless policy. So they obviously won't have data, but I don't know that that's a problem for anybody, but it would be a fairly inexpensive solution as well. So new laptops that aren't as powerful as these, they're basic, they would be appropriate for reviewing material for a council meeting, checking email, those kind of things. New with being programmed would be about $20,000. Getting all new iPads would be about the same, and paper would be about the same over a 5-year period. It all costs the same. So buying the remaining value out of these and redeploying them is actually the least expensive option, and we'd be able to make better use of our iPads without having to buy new ones for the department. So that was a lot of things. I hope it made sense. So that's kind of the direction that I think that we should go in, but I don't know what all your experiences are with the iPads. You know, we know when there's issues sometimes, but I don't know if that is a good fit for everybody. So we really want to hear from you if you don't think that that's going to work, or if you want to look at a different solution.
Questions, comments?
I typically only use the iPad to look at council. I mean, I'm not doing anything other than that on it. So for me, it doesn't make a difference. I mean, as long as I can have it in front of me like I am today, and then look at, you know, everything on Friday when I get it, then, and normally I do that on my phone. So Sure. I feel like if it's beneficial to the city as a whole, I think it's fine. Absolutely.
I have an iPad and I have a laptop. So I would be going down to just my laptop then, right?
Yeah.
Which would be fine, I like the laptop. I have less issues with the laptop than I do the iPad. I have a harder time finding stuff on the iPad. And if you don't exit from whatever you're looking at, and all of a sudden you got a bunch of stuff piled up in there, it's a problem, right?
Yeah, if you're not used to Apple
No,
products,
I
it's
don't,
a challenge.
I've never liked that Apple iPad. It's not real user friendly. You know, younger people like Mandy here probably doesn't have a problem like this old guy here.
See, I don't have a problem either.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but that's what I'm saying. People that use them all the time. You know,
He said younger.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, I was talking about her, you know.
Yeah, not her.
Wow.
Well, I gotta shut my mouth.
Whoa.
I've been in favor of us repurposing. I know I talked to Sarah the other day, and because of GIS and all that, with our water end of our, you know, we could use them in the water department, the street department a lot more. And I know Dale would probably like to have a few of them. But I personally think that buying these leased, my laptop, I can't see any issues with it where I wouldn't. If we were to buy that, I think it would probably last me forever. Probably, I don't know. I use it all the time. I plug it into my printer. It works fine for all that. I have less issues with that laptop than I do the iPad. Yeah, the iPad is at my house sitting in a bay window where if I get an email, it comes through on that. So I know when I'm home that I got something going on with the city.
Sitting
One more
in the
tool
bay
for me to
window.
use
Got it.
to be available. But I don't have a problem. You know, I think turning these things in to be repurposed would be fine. If the majority of the council thinks we ought to keep the iPads, I'll go along with that, but personally, I like my laptop. So.
The only thing I'll say is I like the size of this, the thought of bringing a laptop back and forth to the meeting. I'd be happy to look at the meeting on my phone, but we can't look at phones on a meeting, so.
Not much bigger.
Okay, so if it's,
Not much bigger.
okay, I'm picturing a,
Is that a 15-inch?
Oh, they're pretty light.
okay. I just didn't want some big bulky
And
thing to have to
And I
carry
think we
back
still
and
have
forth.
bags, or we used to have bags in here for the laptops back when we had them.
Sarah, how old are these?
These are 3 years old,
Okay.
so they should
The only
last
thing,
for a while.
sorry, interrupted you. When we first were given the iPads, we were told not to connect them to the Wi-Fi network in the building during meetings, so as not to overload the Wi-Fi.
I don't know that that's ever been a problem since I've been here.
I agree with you.
Maybe they didn't have as good of a connection then?
possible. It's possible that the access points have been replaced or something. This is literally my job when I'm not here, so is knowing this stuff. I like iPads. I find laptops serviceable. I mean, it sits literally next to my bed when I'm not in a meeting, so. I mean,
What she's got, that's what we're talking about.
I wouldn't have a problem with it. Just to say, rephrase that, I know that at my job, I work for another county, our laptops are typically used in a 5-year cycle. So possibly in a couple of years, those laptops might not be worth even the 33 cents on the dollar. It's possible. I don't know what kind of specs they have or anything, but it
So
looks
after
good kill,
3
man. Holy
years,
cow.
we'll be refreshing our laptops again in the office. So my thought was we'd swap them out again. So then we'd have them for 6 years at a time. And we'll have at least one extra because the mayor you'll get a new one for your office. So then that other one will be a backup.
Just like that fancy printer I'm getting.
Yeah.
Well, what's the consensus? Did you want us to make a recommendation, or you just want to get a consensus on what direction we think got to go? Because you're going to have to get pricing and all that.
Right,
back to us.
yep, I'll still have to do that. So a consensus would be great.
So what's the feeling?
It doesn't matter to me,
Ever get
laptop is fine, if that's the cheaper way to go.
I think do what's fiscally responsible.
I think it's fiscally responsible as well.
So do your magic, get the pricing.
All right. Thank you.
City manager report.
Oh, boy, talking a lot tonight. The Career Fest was on Friday. It was very well attended. DPS had a booth as well as the fire department also made representation. Everyone I've talked to said that it went really well. There were a lot of improvements from the previous year. They got to talk to the kids about public service and what it's like to work in the lab and all those kinds of things. So we're looking forward to next year already. I've heard that there are pictures. I've even heard that there's a slideshow, but I haven't seen it yet. So I'm sure Travis can help me get a hold of that, and we'll send that out to you. Other than that, I wanted to make sure everyone's aware that Chris will be here at our next meeting in my place because I'll be on vacation, but I'll be back for the second meeting in March.
I've already questioned about how him and I are going to run this thing. Well, everybody's got to go on vacation, right, Jackie?
Yes, I totally support it. Have fun.
In your packet, you have Chief Boulder's monthly report. Anything to add, Dale?
I do quickly, sir.
Okay.
So in my report, you've seen the February 5th basketball game. Obviously, that was February should be my next report, but I wanted to just extend a very warm thank you for the student council for the Hastings High School, for the great job that they did in this benefit game, and well, I guess games, the volleyball game and cheerleading events and the bake sales for the proceeds going to the young man suffering from brain cancer. So they did an awesome job. The night of the game, February 5th, they raised just a little over $7,000 in donations for the family. And then total for the week was well over $12,000 that went to help support medical bills and what have you for the family. So again, I just wanted to make sure and get up here tonight and Hastings High School, the entire school, but obviously the student council that brought it to us and put this all together. So a lot of that goes to them, and just giving back to the community. So that's what I wanted to just kind of mention them tonight, sir.
Any questions of Dale? Thank you, Dale.
Thank you.
Also in your report, you have City Clerk Chris Beaver's monthly financial report. And as usual, it's pretty good reading, right, Al?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Interest rates are up.
Anything else to add to your report?
Not to this report, but I just wanted to let you know that we wrapped up the 9 days of early voting yesterday at 4:30. We had 63 voters come in over the 9 days. And then tomorrow is Election Day from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the Hastings Baptist Church.
Any questions, Chris?
How much did that cost us?
Back of the napkin calculation that I did a little bit earlier, just in staff time and election workers, about 4,000.
4,000.
That's just labor.
Thank you.
I'll say I worked at the Rutland voting place, and they had similar results. It was pretty sad.
In your packet also, you have Dan's community development report. Anything to add, Dan?
The only thing I want to add is my appreciation to council for reviewing both proposals tonight from the two developers. Sarah and I were talking about this a week or two ago, and it's unusual that we received two very competitive proposals for property. So we're excited about working with Tammy and Diego on this project, and we're pecking away at the housing issues. So again, my thank you.
Any questions of Dan? Thanks, Dan. Reports and communication, January 10th, 2024, Riverside Cemetery Preservation Advisory Board minutes. That was item A. Item B, February 15th, 2024, draft DDA minutes. Entertain a motion to accept, place those two items on file.
So moved.
Motion by Brem, support by Furrow, to place items A and B on file. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Public comment. Butter, anything to say tonight? Mayor and council comment. Any comment tonight? Jordan?
No, sir.
Mandy?
Nope.
Al?
Yeah, I won't be running for re-election in the first ward come November, or August or whatever, so I'll move on and look for other opportunities.
Bigger and better things, right?
Pardon?
Bigger and better things.
Yeah.
Jackie? You comment tonight?
No comment.
No, sir.
John?
All that I'd like to do is thank Al Jarvis for his service for many years.
Goes without saying.
I'm not gone yet.
No, he's not.
Just to start, Al, we're not done with it yet.
Thought I'd have a rose up here.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you,
Okay, if there's
John.
nothing else to come for a council, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Motion by McLean,
Second.
supported by Barlow, to adjourn the meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having us.
You said that great.